Hi, everybody. I am Rick DiClemente with StarSelf.com. This is Astrology Unplugged. Tonight is a very special night because we're going to do something different like we always try to do, and we're going to do return charts. Return charts are very important. I want to get into them. I'm going to try to do as many as I can. They only take about 5 or 10 minutes each because they're, I don't know, they're so sweeping, let's say. A return chart is when the sun returns to the same spot as your birthday. Remember, in astrology, the earth is in the middle. So your return chart is around your birthday, but it's frequently on a different day. It's usually within one day of your birthday. So when you were born, if we made a line through the sun out to a certain star way out there, it's almost like the stars never move, then your return chart is when the sun returns in the same place. And that's why your return chart is not always the same day as your birthday. Now, the thing that's unusual about it is we do the return chart for the place you are at during the return. Some people don't like their return chart. They're born in Pittsburgh. They don't like the return chart. They say, what would it look like if I went to California for a couple of days? And I look and I see, well, it's a lot better. Some people will actually fly to California to be there during their birthday and come back. It's a long story. They're miraculously accurate charts. What they do is they tell you, I'm the easy one. I'm born January 1st. So every January 1st, I do a chart of where the planets are on January 1st or the day before, the day after. It depends on the time. That's why you got to have the birth time. You have to. And that chart reflects what the next year will be like. What house the sun is in is very important. What planets that are angular are very important. And these planets are really, really accurate. They tell you what your main focus will be on that following year. And that's why a lot of clients come to astrologers on their birthday. They want their next year annual report. Now, it's a little bit about them. They don't tell you everything, but they tell you the main thrust. Here's what's really fascinating to me. Sometimes, you may not believe this, but sometimes I get charts after 43 years and I'm just stuck. I'll try to start with somebody and I just can't get anything going. It's just hard to get a rhythm going. I don't know what to do. And I will go do their return chart first. And that starts a dialogue, which is all important. And then I get to know them a little bit better, and then we get the rhythm building. Then I go to the birth chart and things seem to work out fine. We're going to start with Anita, and I'll show you how quickly these can be done. Now, I'm not going to dig too personal with all of you, but I'm going to need for you all to give me a little bit about, in general, what's happening in your life. So we'll go to her chart, and this is her chart. And there's a dog going.
Always.
Must be Anita's big baby boy. Okay, let's take Anita's chart. We'll ask for the return chart, and the return chart is from Morgantown, West Virginia. Okay, just that quickly, the computer has calculated when the sun is coming back to that spot. Now I got to be very careful tonight. I don't do the wrong chart. Okay, so this is your birthday this year was July 21st of 2021 at 21 minutes after midnight. Now, Anita, you can have the choice between having the chart done for your last birthday or the coming birthday. I think we'll do the one you're in now. Is that okay? Where it started July 5th of 2021. Are you with me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick.
Yep.
I muted you because of my
Okay,
dog.
I wanted to know if it would be best to do the chart that you're in now, the return chart that you're in now that will end next July.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Now, we're going to have to suppress the background noise somebody's got coming in. All right. I don't know where it's coming from. I have to take care of that. All right, because you get too much feedback, etc. All right. So we see right away what's interesting is you got Venus and Mars in Leo for next year. The sun is in the fourth house. Neptune is rising just 4 degrees above the ascendant. The moon is next to Uranus. So this is very clear. Okay, you see this big triangle? This is called a T-square. You have Venus and Mars in Leo, which means you'll be damned, but this year you're going to have some fun. You're going to have some fun. And I know you got kids, and this is also a major indication that you want to, somebody's mic is open and they're going to have to just turn it off because it's really causing a lot of static here. I'm going to just stop the recording until I get this taken care of. Pause. Okay, we resumed the recording. Okay, back to your chart. Okay, now it's very clear to me, Anita, you're going to be focusing this year on the emotions, getting your emotional life straight, getting your nest straight. You're a Cancer. You're going to be focusing a lot on having fun, but you're going to actively want to have fun with your kids, not just on the phone. We want to get together and have fun. But the main thing about your chart, without a doubt, everything's pointing to Moon Uranus. Everything's in a big triangle to Moon Uranus in Taurus. And what this means, I'm going to shut the chart down now because it's so clear. You're going through a rebirth, okay? You're going through a major emotional rebirth. I don't know what you got to do to dig down deep to find it, but you're getting free of family stuff. You're getting free of family history. You're getting free of all kinds of things to the positive. And if anybody in your family, there's a tendency in this. There's a tendency to shove you back in your old story, to shove you back in your old role that you play, and you're not going to put up with it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. It's very clear. And the more you do to be active about it, to leave the past go, to move forward with it, the better off you're going to be.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I think it's
Perfect.
very, very promising.
Well, it feels promising. So I appreciate that. It's sounds like we're in harmony on that.
Yes. And also, I'll mention the stomach. Cancer people, one of their weak spots is their stomach. If you've been having trouble with the stomach area, it's going to get better and better and better because letting go is what makes the stomach better. And cancers and Capricorns aren't real good about letting go, but you're going to get better and better at letting go. But I think this is very positive, and you and I can talk much more at our next opportunity. Okay?
Okay, great. Thanks, Rick.
Yes, dear. Peggy, you're next. Peggy, if I see Jan sitting there, I feel like romper room. I see Jan and I'm okay. Peggy, there you are. Asked to unmute. Let me get your chart loaded.
All right.
All right. I'm going to just, okay, here we go. Ready for Peggy's chart. Okay, Peggy. Peggy's a Virgo. You see very clearly angular planets are the big deal. Okay? Angular planets. Venus opposite Saturn. This is the #1 thing about the chart. Where's the sun? Sun's in the 3rd house. What does that mean? Sun in the 3rd house in Virgo means she's going to mainly put her focus on next year, starting with September of 2020, on mental development. This is like a software update, getting the computer running better. She's going to be really focusing on getting her mind operating in a much more productive fashion that will suit her. Now, you see here, we see a major symbol here. Venus opposite Saturn, T-square 2825 up to Eris here. Okay, this is very clear. All right. What this means, and I'm going to knock you out on this one. This means you are not happy with the relationships you've been having with people. I don't know who they are. It doesn't mean husband. It doesn't mean daddy. It doesn't mean child. It means whatever relationships you're not happy with, you are done with it. You have just had it, and your heiresses, it's all going to heiress in that chart, which means if any of these relationships are being held back because somebody's treating you like a traditional woman and you're being put down and played with because you're a woman, you're going to be irate about it. You're not putting up with it anymore. And I'm being very forceful on purpose because that's what the chart says, especially in the career end. If somebody's playing with you because you're just a woman, you don't be around them because Peggy's going to be really upset with it. It's because you're ready. Okay? Now you could talk to me. What do you think so far?
Yeah, I went through a divorce a couple years ago. Not a bad one. We're still friends.
Okay.
But everybody that I was involved with, I've left behind. I retired. I left all the work people that I really didn't enjoy being with.
Okay.
I've left friends behind. I've just sort of like called timeout. Everybody
Okay,
can
well,
leave.
what I'm telling you, because I'm moving fast, is that was part one. Part two is much bigger. Okay. Because part
Yes.
two has passion in it, and you're not stopping anymore for anybody.
Right.
Okay. This is going to be great advancement in your career. It's got not some magic or the career plan is helping you. It's just because you're not going to accept less. And Virgos have to watch out. Virgos and Capricorn. We're both very bad at accepting compliments. You know, we tell people, oh, don't bother, don't bother. So what people do is stop bothering. Okay. Well, you're going to start accepting them, and that's good, and you need them. But this is all about a female liberation. Very strong. Okay. We move on now to Amy. I don't know where Amy is. She's Amy just here on the telephone. Yo, Amy.
I am here. I am on my
Hi, dear.
computer.
Are you on camera?
I am not on camera. Just because my computer issue, so I not put my picture up there and hope I can get through this without my computer getting too hot.
All right, hold on. I got issues here, so I'm having to stop the recording in between each. Resume recording. Okay, we're ready to go. Amy is ready. Here you go. Amy is a Cancer. She's got Venus and Mars in Leo this year. This is from June 30th of you know what this is? This is the coming one. We're getting so close. This is your return chart from the coming birthday, June 30th.
Wait.
Yes?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This chart, the computer decided that was the closest one. So this is your coming June until June of 22. All right. Now, you've got a T-square to Uranus in the 9th house in Taurus. You got a major moon Neptune going on in the 7th house. What this means is you are really going to get radical with your belief system. And I don't mean radical with the system. I mean, you're going to start following what you've been believing. You're going to start shocking a lot of people because they see you as well-behaved and kind of demure, and you're going to just start shocking them because you're going to start just being more and more outspoken and start following what you've been thinking. That make sense?
That's really interesting because I'm very outspoken as it is, so this should be an interesting year then.
Okay, well, I got a bad connection here. Okay, let's go on with this. All right, I'm glad you told me that. Now, this is a very major symbol here. Moon and Neptune in Pisces. This is big time opening up spiritually, opening up telepathically, opening up intuitively. This is major, major stuff. You should be feeling this already. Because Cancers are really one of the best in the zodiac with tarot readings, with intuition, etc. Your intuition is going to get tenfold. Make sense to you?
Yes, awesome.
Yes, this is really good. This is really, really strong. And it's also so strong. What is your relationship identity? Are you married or dating or what?
I am completely single, been for a lot of years.
Okay, you're single. What this tells me is if your next mate, the next person you date, isn't real spiritual, they ain't got a chance. They ain't got a chance. Because you're not going to have the time of day for them unless they're really, really spiritual. They got to be very philosophical and very spiritually based because you are. Okay?
Great. Yes.
You got me?
Gotta be a hell yes, not a maybe relationship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Gotcha.
I see it as a very good year, and I cannot emphasize enough how strong this download of grace is coming to you from Spirit, from Holy Spirit, from intuition growing and growing. Trust it, listen to it. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Now I'm going to have to do the show like this and just pause in between persons. Now, Michelle, since your birthday was on December 21st or thereby, the return chart is from December. So this is all of 2021 until December 21st, the first day of winter at the end of this year. That's what this chart is.
You know, it's the 22nd, right?
It doesn't matter if it's the 22nd.
I just wanted to say that.
Right. The chart is doing it by space, not by time.
Got it.
So this is all of 21 for you. Okay.
Jeez, I'm all over there.
Everything's on the right side.
Yeah.
All right. The sun is in the fourth house. Venus is at the bottom. Neptune's at the seventh. Heavy duty eighth house. Okay. Where is the concentration? Uranus is here. 3 planets are here. Okay. This is an indication. First of all, I'm going to make sure this is working correctly. Yeah, good. Okay. Okay, this is not a simple one. With Venus right here, this is a real indication. I'm waiting for it to come back on. You guys, there it is. This is a major indication of beautifying your home.
Mm.
Okay, I know you always are working at it and you got a great house to work with. This is a major indication because it's when you beautify the home, it's not just the home, it gets beautified because your inner self has to match it.
Mm.
And you're just tired of being around something that's not finished. You
Mhm.
get me? And the more you
Yeah.
finish outside, the more it helps you inside. Okay, this is very major, and this is wonderful to see. Neptune in Pisces in the seventh house. This means you're going to really be racked up with dealing with spiritual people. And here you are, the head of a spiritualist church. Well, you're going to start separating from the people who just come to church between them and the one who are really there having real spiritual experiences. You're going to really pump up the ladder. Okay. This is really, really good. It's also an indication that you will not be afraid. I mean, you never have been, but you're not going to be afraid of taking on more of a role as a medium, as a spiritual messenger, instead of just saying what you should say or what's in the book, which can be very Capricornian. You're going to just start dumping out what you're picking up. You're just going to give it, you're going to transmit it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very strong. Okay, very strong eighth house. That means that this year you're not going to worry about diving into the mysterious world. You're not going to worry about diving into the occult and being protected. You know you're protected and you're diving in with both hands first and going. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You understand that? Dawn, yeah, what did you want to say, please? Dawn raised her hand. Dawn? Okay, I don't know what that was. All right. So what we're seeing is I really like this because what I'm getting from this is this. You have to really mix things together. You are really into refining your life this year. Okay? I'm trying to find you on the screen. Okay? Refinement. Now we're next to each other. Refinement is a huge theme in this chart this year. Refining your life. You're no longer satisfied going to get the groceries, coming, doing the thing. You want everything to flow smoothly. As a matter of fact, I see this as a year for you where you're going to get a lot quieter. But you don't want to just talk because you realize talk is cheap. You're going to want things to come out that mean something. And when you do your workshops or when you do your messages on Sunday, you're going to want them to be more and more meaningful. And I think this is a theme happening to all of us now with the collective. But I see it as a very good year. Okay?
Hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Okay. Now let's mute you. Who's trying to get my attention? I'm going to pause it.
That's me. I'm sorry.
Bring back on. Okay, here we go with Linda V and her return chart. Okay. Linda V. Okay. Now, we all know that there are 6 planets right now, 5 planets right now in Aquarius. Okay. That's going to be a big deal. But the story here is what? You can see it. The moon. Everything's over here. The moon's over here. That's obvious. Where's the sun? The sun is in the 5th with Aquarius. The sun in the 5th in Aquarius means that you're going to really be into group expression. I've been looking at my Aquarian friends on Facebook lately, and when you look at them and you do their photos, everything's in a group. They never have a photo by themselves. They're always got hugged around 19 people. That's what makes Aquarians happy. Learn astrology. Leo, opposite. Me, what did I do? Opposite. Aquarius, us, what did we do? Leo, me, what did I do? Aquarius, us, what did we do? That's why Aquarians get such a kick out of what did the group do? Now, I got a lot of people still coming in. Now, several points are very important here, Linda. You got the moon by itself. You got the moon directly facing Eris, powerful, and the T-square coming down to Pluto. So this is really, really powerful with Pluto on the 4th house, 5th house, and Venus next to Saturn. You're going through a year of emotional turning point, okay? And what this can mean is rather simple to me. People carve this on your billboards outside of town. I've really been talking a lot about this to my Aquarian girlfriend. People take Aquarians for granted. They just do. They take Aquarian men for granted. They take Aquarian women for granted because they're such good friends. They're just so constant and they're always there, and people use them like crazy. They just do. You finish conversation now, come back in 3 years, you pick up the conversation right at the same sentence because they're so constant and they're very strong and they should not be taken for granted. And that's what's going on this chart. You're done with it. You're done with being taken for granted. And I know you don't like being mean and you don't have to be mean, but this moon is all by itself. This moon wants some attention. This moon is in the 2nd house. You're putting all your marbles into your chart this year for emotional self-worth. I'm going to fix my emotional self-worth. And you're not in any mood to joke around with this. The moon is opposite Chiron down to Pluto in the 4th house. So it's a very good year. It's something that you need to do. You're going to go into the occult like you always do, and you're very brave and you're very broad. You have a lot of knowledge, but you're going to even get bolder. You're diving in. And I think one of the reasons that you're diving in so strongly and what's given you all this faith and courage to do all this is I think you really have a strong connection to a female spirit. I don't know who she is. Oh, I know she's really good. And she's there and she's the right deal. But your chart is about expressing yourself through your friends and having fun. But no more taking me for granted. No more taking me for granted, children, friends, whatever. And you need to do that. This Kabish?
I got it. And actually, I'm curious if you don't mind telling me, because I don't read charts. So all the little squares that are all piled up there,
Yeah.
why are there so many squares and they're all piled on
Well, I
top?
don't know why they're there, but I gave you the main interpretation.
Okay, okay.
Okay. What this means is your conservative type of manner is being squared by Mars Uranus, and Mars Uranus is saying we can't get anywhere with you being conservative about this. It's time to go.
I needed to hear
I
that.
cannot tell you people. I
I
cannot tell you people enough about how strong Eris is now. That's the one I've been harping on you recently. It's time to GO. And in your chart, the squares can be troublesome, but they can also be really motivating. And what's happening is this being taken for granted has hurt you. And it can't be there anymore. It can't be there anymore. You know, you people are going to pay for your time because your time is valuable. Okay. And you got to stop this, whatever this is, of being always available to everybody. It just gets you stretched too thin. Make sense?
Yep, I've been learning that. Thank you.
Capiche?
Thank you very much.
You are certainly welcome. Let me move on. We're pausing in between readings. It's going there. See, I got to remember if I'm recording or not. Okay, I don't know what this means per se. We need to talk about this, but this is you going out and staking your claim. That's what
Okay.
this is. And I'm raising my voice on purpose. You're staking your claim, whether it's an artist, whether it's an educator, whether it's what, but you're just not going to be held back anymore. What does this mean to you?
Well, I bought an RV in October. It's in storage,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be packing up this apartment and moving into the RV, and I'm going to camp and paint and travel all over the US.
Oh, right. Get ready, everybody, because here comes Susan from Cleveland. That's wonderful. Okay, now you're not going to just be traveling and painting. You have influence on people. You may even be reading for people when you're out there because you're a very accomplished medium. What message do you want to give people when you're out there?
In terms of mediumship, it's being of
In
service.
terms of anything, what message do you want to give?
Lately, I want to be of service. If I can do any healing through readings, that's the angle.
Okay,
That's the way I'm
very,
going.
very good. And that's much there. What I'm asking you to be more specific is, what's the message that you want to give people?
Life is precious. There is life on this side and on the other side. There is life. It continues.
Wonderful. And you're going to be what are Sagittarians? They're the cheerleaders of the zodiac. You got nothing but 3 blinking green lights.
Good.
That's what I see.
I
Okay.
could use it.
This
Thank
looks
you.
really, really good. Go for it. Okay, now
Awesome.
everybody remind me when I'm recording, when I'm not, because it's getting confusing. Okay. Hello, Maria Martorana. Hi there. I'm going to resume the recording and come back to Leslie in Wheeling. This is major stuff. We're going to have to look at this closely. Once again, 5 planets in Aquarius, moon out there by itself. Of course, this is the kind of show that Aquarians would come to. And did you notice Aquarian men don't come to this show?
Oh.
Did you notice Aquarian men don't go anywhere? You can never find one. You go around the world, they're all by themselves doing secret stuff. We have a couple Aquarian men through the years, but they're just hard to find. Aquarian women are different. They love to stir it up with all their friends and talk about all this weird stuff, right? Yes.
Yeah, you
Okay.
bet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in Aquarius. Okay. T-square. Where's the T-square going? 14, 11. Where's it going to? Jupiter. Wow. That's amazing. 14, 11, Jupiter. That means you're really looking into, not passively, but aggressively finding ways to make more money. You're into it. You're finding, I got to find a way to strengthen my resources in my life. Okay. Now, along with resources, the second house has a lot to do with self-worth. So I don't know how you feel about your self-worth through the years, but this is a year to really enhance that. Okay. That no matter
Yeah.
what anybody says or insinuates or says, you're not going to fool around with it. You're feeling real good about yourself. This is who I am, and that's just how we're going to be. And that's very exaggerated with the Sun and Jupiter both there. So this is a very, very good year to deal not only with self-worth, but it's also a year when you have the Taurus indicated from the second house. It's a year of, I got to make sure I got this on. Yeah, it is on. Good. It's a year of values. It's a year of prioritizing your life. This is really a big deal in your life. I know I look past you usually, and you have all these pieces of cloth organized, which is so Aquarian in your house. But this is another type of organization. This is it's become very important in your life to get your priorities straight. And that doesn't mean you're going to die. It just means you're really trying to get your priorities straight. What does that mean to you? Peggy, you need to go take a nap, honey. What's it mean to you, Leslie?
It is, well, you know that I've been in the past year been working a little bit harder on some spiritual type things. And
Yes.
I think that's a big part of the organization is understanding my place through the ages of my family and reaching out and communicating.
I know you've been doing a lot of past history with your family. What is that giving you?
Well, it's really given me a lot. I feel it's really been enriching because I'm not only looking at the statistics and the data that I've been able to find, I'm really getting a feeling or connection with them on their lives and filling in the blanks. It's more than just looking at a piece of paper.
Very good. And this moon at the top of the chart and Eris at the bottom, this is what connects you to your past, to the people who've gone before, to your old family. This is your connection to your roots. And we see Eris is really digging there, and it's in Aries. So you're just diving in, like diving off the high dive, just diving into it. But it really is why? Why? The why is because it's going to help you go forward. And I know you're very conscientious about what you leave for your daughter. It's really, really important to you. And she's a very lucky girl because I know you lay it on thick with her. You give her stuff of great value. So that's what I can see happening the rest of the year too.
Yeah, we're very close. She and I are closely connected.
Well, I don't see anything different. That's what I just told you is really, really good. Here's the Neptune trine to the moon. So that's another indication of your intuition getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
We go back 40 years dealing with this, you and I.
I know.
So it's time to just keep it up. Okay?
Okay. I
Very
count
good.
on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's take a short break here. Okay, here comes Ray. We'll get back to that chart. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in Aquarius in the 6th house, bunch in the 9th house. This means learning a lot of new skill sets on the computer. That's what this means. Learning a lot of new skill sets. Sun, Saturn, 5 planets in Aquarius. You're doing a website. I don't know what you're doing, but you're stirring up something on the web for your own good. Now, you got 4 planets in the 9th house. So you're really trying to you're trying to walk your walk and talk your talk. So this is your overall philosophy, and you're trying to put it to use in all of your skill development. Why? Because you're just about ready for these planets to go into this house. And when they go into that house, that's when you're going to start presenting a new ray publicly.
Nice,
Does
nice.
it make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Now, let me make sure I'm, yeah, I am recording. Good. I need to see where that light is. All right. Okay. Now, I don't know. I know a little bit about most of our visitors here, but your chart's about to come out. It's about to come out
Mhm.
with confidence and coming out with, this is who I am. And you know what's funny? I see so many Aquarians that feel like they don't belong here. They feel misunderstood. And I find them to be the most normal people that I know. I don't know why. I don't feel that weird. I mean, I want people to have food and a place to sleep, and I don't think that's that radical.
I agree.
And what I
I agree.
really like about Aquarian women is they're thinkers. They think. And boy, you better respect how they think, because if you don't, they're not going to talk to you for long. They're very bright people. And the thing that's unique about Aquarians, they realize the ramifications. If this is true and that is true, do you realize the ramifications? Other people don't get it. Aquarians got it. They say, I see what this means. That's why they're future oriented, etc. Now, did you notice in the middle of all this and all this sits Neptune in Pisces?
Yep.
So what that tells me is you're going to start learning a lot. How am I saying this? You're going to start enveloping everything that you see during the next year around your spiritual intuition. This is a major thing because Aquarians go by their mind. How does the mind work? Not now. With that Neptune in the middle of all this, you're going to start letting my spiritual side, my right brain, my intuitive connection, it's going to start leading the way. And that's excellent because eventually all Aquarians have to cross that bridge.
Very good.
Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I did a kind of a few weeks ago, I did kind of a deep dive looking at all of this. And I was curious, why, what does it mean to have all those planets on one side of the chart and nothing on the other side?
Well, I think too much is made of that, but in general, what they say is when everything's at the top, you're extroverted. When it's at the bottom, you're introverted. When it's on the left-hand side, you're very independent. When it's on the right-hand side, you're dependent. I don't put much weight on that, but that's what I've always heard. But this is really major, and I'm making up my own rules here. I'm putting Neptune at the middle of all this stuff. And I can do it mathematically, but I don't need to. I'm just looking at it. It's that obvious. This is telling me, you see, the reason Aquarians have to make this final transition is in the book that we wrote. And the soul is getting the self together through the first 11 signs of Aquarius. But there's still one stage to go, which is a Pisces stage. And in the Pisces stage, which is the stage after Aquarius, Aquarius has done all its work to get itself together mentally and individualistically. But in Pisces, you have to let go. You have to let go to return to the oneness. So it's not easy for all Aquarius to do this. So the fact that you're doing this and you're ready for this is really, really good because it's there. It's going to support you. The promises that are made for you are real. They are there. And it's going to take a lot of load off of you mentally. I mean,
Oh, good. I've been on a treadmill. My mind's been on a monkey mind course for quite a while.
And I can't tell you how many days I get dragged down by people trying to figure stuff out. I don't want to hear it. Go somewhere and blow off steam somewhere because you're not going to figure it out. Spirit will figure it out for you. Spirit's already going to do the work. So that's what I see for you. I see very good, and I'm not going to underplay this. This is a lot of involvement with the internet. Like doing your own blog, research, which is so common for Aquarians, research. So I don't know.
Well, I am in web development,
Okay.
and
but
I bought a new domain last week, so.
There you go. But I see it as very positive. Why?
Excellent.
Not because the planets say they're positive. Why?
Mhm.
Because I know you're open to this.
Sure.
That's how you succeed with a planet. You're open to its energy. And what that means is you're open to the energy that's coming through you. So, very good. And go to it and have fun.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's
Thank you.
stop. You're welcome. Got my down to earth Taurus keeping an eye on me. Hello, Waldo. Okay. Let's take a look. And Margaret. All right. You got the sun up in the 9th house, 21 degrees opposite Neptune, pretty strong. Okay. This is a major indication right off, big time spiritual learning. Okay. Also, when it's opposite, it has a 7th house connotation. What this means is you want to be with spiritual people and you're tired of being around people that aren't. This is really very strong. Okay. You want to be with people who are at least trying, at least working and learning spiritually. Okay. So it'd be a very good time for you to get involved in a spiritual group just for your own personal spiritual growth. Here's the 3 planets in Capricorn. And the Mercury is opposite Eris. This is very, very strong. This is very much an indication that you're going to be very interested in astrology all year. This is the symbol for astrologers. Does that make sense?
Kind of, sort of, maybe not.
Okay, kind of, sort of, maybe not. All right, that's okay. I get a no every once in a while. That's all right. Now, you got the moon Venus opposite Saturn, a T-square to Mars. So you're doing a lot of work to get your emotional health in line, to get it straight. But what's really strong in this chart is right here. You got the moon Venus. This is really the guts of this chart, Margaret. So tell me what's happening to you spiritually. You're really trying to turn your life over to it and learn about it.
I'm trying to learn about it, but I look at it from a lot of different ways.
Okay.
And I haven't really found it. I'll get interested in one particular way of looking at it, and then I'll move on to another one. So I've gone through a lot of different perspectives. So I don't know that I'll ever be really in one area.
That's right, and that's okay. And you got Uranus squaring 2 planets here, right here. And what that means is this is a time for you to do the opposite, just what you said, not to settle for something. It's time to stay open and try this, try that, try that. And the problem with something like that can be that Virgo can tell you, hey, you're wasting your time. And you must not listen to that. Okay? Because you're not building a house. You need to experiment. You need to experiment. And that's what it's saying. So it's a time for a lot of spiritual experimentation. Also, I'm going to be blunt with you. Someone close to you is deceiving you. Oh, who it is. Someone's deceiving you. Somebody's taking advantage of your kind nature. And I don't know if it's big scale or large or small scale or what, but I want you to put your antenna up and start being aware of this. And the reason why is Virgo people are really, let me see here. Yeah, Virgo people are very, they're very innocent and they're very honest. They just are. What you see is what you get. And it's very natural to assume that the other is that way, but they're not. Okay?
Okay.
So this could be either someone's deceiving you, you need to learn about it, or it could be a general statement, which means you need to just keep an eye on that whole process in general, because people take you for granted. Virgos very much take it for granted because they're wonderful people. They stay late to get the work done. They don't want any credit for it. They're this hard worker. They have a strong sense of ethics. So make sure someone's not taking advantage of that. Okay?
Okay.
All right. But it's a very spiritual year for you. And don't worry about it, whether it fits into one groove or not. Just keep experimenting. Okay?
Well, I've been curious about astrology, but I honestly can't get my mind to follow it. So I don't know.
That's okay. It's okay. A lot of people get into astrology to follow the rhythm of it and the generics of it, but it's a very hard science to pinpoint it to really, like Ray says here, it takes years.
Yeah.
It just does. Anyhow, I think it's going to be very good and productive. Also, I want to tell you this, two things. One, keep an eye on your upper GI area. If you have any problem in that area, it's because you're being uptight. You need to just let go and it will loosen up. But the most common illness in the zodiac is Virgos with intestinal problems, without a doubt. Okay. Secondly, I'm not a doctor, but if you have problems in the next several months or so, it will most likely be psychosomatic.
Okay.
Okay, especially if you get these doctors that are hemming and hawing about viruses and stuff. You're going to hear the show next week because this is amazing. Because I took astrology right out of their hands, these doctors, and what they're doing with this little kid. Okay, Margaret, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, let's get to the next person. It really does help. Okay, we're rolling with Erica. We decided to do the next year's chart since April's coming soon. And this is the solar return for coming April 27th. Doesn't matter if your birthday's on that day or not. This is your solar return. This is from April all through the end of the year on into April of 2022. Now look at this, full moon, sun, moon, right there. Look at this. Sun, moon, really major stuff. The sun is exactly on the ascendant within 6 minutes. This is within 6 minutes. So the sun is a big deal here. Sun, moon, up to Saturn. All right. Uranus is conjunct the sun. Okay. When you see something like this, it's so clear that you don't even need to look at the other planets. You just look at the sun, Uranus, look at Pluto up at the midheaven, and the moon over here. Okay, what this means is the sun's so strong on the ascendant, it means, we're going to find her on the screen here. Erica, tell me if I'm right or wrong. Go ahead and unmute yourself. This is a chart of I'm going to make myself heard. I'm going to make myself heard. Now, you're the kind of person, you talk a good bit because you're a talker. But even so, you got a lot to say and you want to be heard. This is really very strong. And you're just not going to sit by people that say to you, oh, you talk all the time, and they're going to push you to the side. You're not going to accept it. How do you feel?
Absolutely. I've always been quite a bit that way because I've got Eris right between my Mars and Venus. So I've always gotten myself into so-called trouble that way. But now there's really a fire under me because time is a wasting and the world has a lot of changing to do. And we're in a really difficult spot.
And you're not a typical Taurus. With the sun being so strong and with the Leo energy being so strong, you have things to say. So go somewhere and say it.
While I still have time, I'm 73.
You look like you're about 53. So no matter what, if you're in a dull crowd, go somewhere else because there's a crowd for you there. And there's an audience for what you have to say. And your Pluto is very much involved here. So that means you really got a lot of serious stuff to say. this sun is so strong in this chart. It's just radiating. It's the sunrise in a chart. The sun rises. There it is, right on the angle. Pluto's involved, the moon is involved. And what this is an encouragement. This is a repeat of last week when I told you, just go do it. Now, what does that mean to you? Just go do it.
Well, you know, I studied community mental health and I want to be a community mental health worker. I thought I could use my astrology with that. And I am indirectly through my husband, because I asked about all his clients' birthdays to help him, you know, trying to get into what's going on with them that way. Because a lot of, you know, disabled people that need, you know, extra help and stuff. But
that can help greatly. But what I'm going to tell you is really important. A lot of clients won't hear me when I do this. I'm talking about you. Okay? Clients talk about all this other stuff. Okay? Talk about you. Your chart is on fire. We need to hear more Erica. Okay?
I'm trying to decide what I think because things are so damn complicated. And
Erica,
you know, I don't know who
things
to
are not that.
trust.
What does the world need now?
What does the world need now?
Yeah.
A little common sense for
All right.
starters.
Now that's a Taurus answer, and I'm going to end this conversation right now. That's what you need to spread. Thank God Tauruses give us common sense. That's where you have to contribute. Okay?
Okay.
And you get
Thank
in this,
you, Rick.
you get in this thing with Neptune, and you start going all around the block. Instead, just go straight forward where your power is. Your power is common sense and grounding.
I've got Neptune rising.
See what I'm talking about? Okay, thank you. All right.
Thank God, it makes me a little bit spiritual.
God, and welcome to Joe. And we're going to do his chart. Okay. So you are a Cancer. The T-square is the moon Uranus. You got Venus and Mars once again in Leo, opposite Saturn. So a lot of you folks tonight have had Venus and Mars opposite Saturn, which is very intriguing. T-square is to the moon and Uranus in the 9th house. Okay, now the Jupiter is very strong in Pisces. That's going to really help you with your intuition, feeling very certain about your intuition. But what we have is a shaky sun sign. Sun and Cancer people are not usually real certain ABC clear. They're just not. But with this Venus and Mars opposite Saturn with a T-square to the moon, okay, this is a chart where this moon Uranus is trying to solidify your philosophy. So what this means is you're done with shaking around, thinking around, mulling around, mumbling around. Your chart is certain of what you think. And you just got to, the Cancer Leo part of the chart is very uncertain. The 4th and 5th signs, they need too much agreement and support from the outside world to find their confidence. Your chart is done with that. Your chart's done with it. You don't need confirmation anymore. You know what the hell you're doing. You know, and you have known. And whatever reason, you've allowed people to water you down in terms of your confidence of what you believe. But your chart is on fire right now. You believe what you believe, and you're right. Now tell me what you think.
Yeah, I think you're on the ball there. I'm curious. I have a question for you because as soon as I saw that moon conjunction Uranus in the 9th house, and I'm considering moving to a different continent, I'm thinking that it's pretty much telling me that it's going to happen. That's what I saw. That I don't know if you see that.
We don't want to talk about that. We don't allow any questions in astrology to start with the word will, okay? Because we don't know what's going to happen. Secondly, intuitively, I'm not stupid. It's just so clear to me that you're going to move, okay? It's clear. I'm not even looking at the planet. It's clear. Why? Because I can sense it. Because why? When you're a Cancer and you move, that's a big deal. When you're a Cancer and you leave the good old USA, that's even a bigger deal. It's a huge deal. Joe, you're ready. You're ready to do it. And you can always come back if you want to.
Mhm.
But you're ready to make this move because it's symbolic of you being ready to make this move from inside. And Cancers are based on caution. They're based on caution. You're not based on caution this year. Go do it.
Okay.
Now, what do you foresee that you want to do there?
I'm not sure. I'm leaving that open. I'm leaving that, like, I want the universe to guide me and
Even better.
how it unfolds.
Even better. It's going to be glorious. I think this is terrific. Terrific. Moon Uranus, I'll tell you one thing it means. You ain't going to Rome, or you're not going to Lisbon. You're not going to London. You're going to somewhere off the wall. Somewhere, how the hell I get here? Well, you got reindeer. I mean, you're going somewhere unusual. That's what Uranus does. You're going to go and be very sparked. You're going to be very sparked by the place and the people you get to. It's going to really spark you creatively because you're ready to go. But the biggest thing in your chart, Yucatan. Waldo, we don't want to go to Yucatan. You knew you would say it. That's not going anywhere. That's going south. Oh, God. What do I do with Sagittarians in my audience? I don't know. How do I say this? You are ready. What age are you?
40. I'll be 41
All
at the
right.
next return.
You're coming into your midlife return.
Yeah.
You're coming into your midlife crisis. Okay. What this means is, I don't know where your Cancer tentacles reach, but in your past, there have been too many tentacles wrapped around your family. What does dad think? What does mom think? What does brother think? What's his friend think? All this stuff. That's just Cancerian. Makes sense. But that's what's being clipped now. They're all being clipped, and you're going because you're cool as you are. Please log in from wherever you get. Log in and tell us where the hell you are.
I will. I'll try.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. Congratulations. I think it's terrific.
Thank you.
Let me move on. You are welcome. Let me part you back up. Okay. Diane in April. All right. You are in Aries by a day and a half. A day and a half later, you would have been a Taurus. Diane, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets in the first house, including Eris in Aries, right on the ascendant. Boy, is that unusual. Now, I'm going to get to that moon later, but I'm going to really point something out to you that I wrote in the book. I really believe that I really believe that Chiron in Aries, I really believe that it's the ruler of Virgo. I have a lot of evidence. So when Chiron is strong in a chart, especially being in Aries and rising, this means that around your birthday, you're going to be becoming obsessed with about getting lean and mean, changing your body, changing your diet, exercise. She's holding her mouth, everybody, because it's so accurate.
Already happening.
Huh?
It's already happening.
Okay. Well, this is really, really good because what are Aries about? Aries are about Rocket Man. You get shot through the sky. You don't care where the hell you're going. You're just going. Okay? You're experiencing everything. And you can't do it if you're flabby. You got to be mean and lean. Mean and lean. I'm getting Peggy to laugh. That's good. That's what it's about. It's psychological. In case you people don't know it, if you're around Aries people, Aries can't stand it if you're whining and moaning and bitching about what's going on and how am I going and what's going to happen and what's this. They just want to go. You understand? They just want to go. So just put up with them, let them go, and say go. That's what they're about. Where'd you go, Diane? There you are. Now, I'm going to shut up. What do you think of what I said?
Well, it's interesting. I really have just recently gotten so like focused on getting back in shape. When I went into menopause, I gained 30 pounds. I never used to be heavy. But I feel like I am becoming more and more like a true Aries. And it's interesting. You were saying like, I don't want to sit around listening to people complain. I'm a therapist. And I have been so, I know, I've been thinking about retiring because
Well, I told you guys last week about how people will just come up with all these reasons why they can't go. And that's why when people do go, Joe, when they do go, it's you got 90% of it whipped just because you're going. Okay, so your chart's in really, really good shape. And it's not just about weight. It's about lean and mean mentally, which means get these people off me. Get these people off my head. I want to go. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about being cruel to your clients or shopping short your career. I'm talking about maximizing you. So let's go back to the chart and you will notice here that it's right next to Eris. It's 14 degrees from Eris. Eris is right on your Mercury. Mercury's right on your sun. So you've got Eris, Mercury, Sun within 4 degrees in Aries. Now, what's intriguing, and I like this, the moon is wrapped around the nadir, and that's in Cancer. And that's the one that wants to hang on to the flagpole while you're out there flying. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to go flying and keep wrapped around the flagpole? You can't do it. So what you have to do, they seem to be at square to each other, but they're not. It's a myth. This stuff you read in the books about squares and opposition, whoa, it's a bunch of stuff. Let me explain that to you, Diane. There's every reason to believe that while you're flying, that you could be taking care of your emotions. There's every reason to believe that you can do that. But people think that I got to stay home and double up and get my Afghan around me and all this and take care and buckle down right here. No, sometimes Aries can't do anything unless they're moving. So you have what appears to be a square, what appears to be a dichotomy, but you have every reason to believe that you're right on track. Go forward, get lean and me, move, and occasionally look down and see how you're doing mostly. Because you're not one to stare at your belly button. That's not how Aries are made. Aries get on a successful trip, they come back, wasn't that great? And their belly button's fine. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Good.
Thank you so much.
I'm done with that one. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna, let's see, let's resume record. And here we go with John. John, this is an interesting looking chart. Planets are well spread out. Venus and Mercury in Gemini, along with the sun, in the 10th house, opposite the moon. Jupiter is very, very strongly placed. This is your main planet in this chart. Neptune. Okay, I'm going to tell you what this means very clearly. I don't care what you're doing. You've been a lawyer a long time. I don't care what you're doing as a lawyer. This is a chart about an optimistic turning point in your persona. The person you're going to present to the public. You told me before that when you're in trial, you have to kind of manage how you look and how you smile, etc. Not this chart. This chart, I'm going to go out. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be spiritual. I'm going to talk to people about spiritual values. I'm going to go and reach out, and I'm going to come back to the law profession, and I'm going to tell them that their bottom line isn't good enough either. This is all Aries stuff. You're going to come back to the legal profession and tell everybody they need to chill. Not only do they need to chill, but you're going to start to try to introduce, in whatever level you can, you're going to start to try to introduce doing what's right. I don't know how I can get this inserted into law schools, but we need to start talking about this and this and this and doing what's right. Okay? Instead of all these loophole searchers. Now, what does this mean to you?
Absolutely, this is absolutely true. But I'm retired, okay, but I still
Okay,
teach.
you're retired, but your brain ain't retired because you're moving all the time.
I teach in the law school, so and I'm writing like crazy, and it's just I'm really thinking really big things. It's like my spirit is just exploding, and I'm
Okay, it's because we're all sitting here seeing what happens at the end of the bottom line. We are sitting at the end of the bottom line and all the poor people in Houston and in Texas. And I told you, I have people that want to improve their situation. I got other people that want to go back. I know I say this, some people want to put on a alcohol for your hat and develop something new. That's not you. You want to go back to the profession that you've been in and correct it. Help to finesse it, help to fix it. And if there's anything wrong with the BS legal system, it's called doing what's right.
That's right.
And that's where you're valuable. That's where you're really valuable. That's where you need to talk about, get interviewed, make movies, get on TV, whatever. That's what you got to say. That's what's inspiring you. And you're not going to stay inspired about legal issues. You're going to be inspired about spiritual issues and how they inform the practical. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Well, that starts on fire just for that.
Yeah, and I'm writing poetry like crazy, and it's different. It's very spiritual.
Yeah, very good. Now the poetry stuff is coming from where I'm doing the same with music. The T squared of Neptune. Look at the big T squared of Neptune.
That's pretty exciting.
You can't ask for anything more than that. So what the planets are trying to tell you, and it ain't the stars, it's the planets, okay? They're trying to tell you, and it sounds so hokey, that everything is spiritual, that everything else is either secondary or doesn't even exist. And you've paid your dues long enough, and you're brilliant, and we need to hear from you, and it's that simple. Okay?
Amen.
Amen, brother. Thank you. Let's move on. Resume. Okay, here we're back with Linda, the Libra. And what do we see, Linda? Venus is rising in Virgo. Venus is not in Leo. And I would even question whether this Leo is accurate. There's no way you could even tell if this is accurate, if it's Leo or Virgo. It doesn't even matter. The Venus is so critical here. Okay, the Venus is at the tip of almost like a yod. The Sun is in Libra at 10. The Sun is opposite Chiron. Big clump of planets in a stellium in the 5th house, a stellium in the 9th house. And Venus is here in Virgo. Wasn't this intriguing? Let me start with you first. What did you get from that, Linda? The big 9th house, the big 5th house, the Venus in Virgo on the ascendant. She's one of my students. That's why I'm picking on her.
I'm thinking that the Venus and Virgo might be getting ready to be more selfish. I don't know. More self-oriented, less work-oriented, getting on with my own creativity. You know, not, you know, sort of not so other directed. That would be what I would.
Well, that's very good. Also, Venus in Virgo is about straightening up my life, you know, the people in my life, the way I talk to them, the way my office hours are, the way I'm teaching, and I'm doing it all through Zoom and all this. It's about getting it organized because it's just crazy and it's just getting too nutso. And you're trying to streamline it.
Oh, I did. I'm so on to that. I mean, the fall was just a freaking mess. And this semester, what I decided was to give everybody choices. But everybody had to, I said, everybody's going to pick a lane, but then you got to stay in your lane. Because
Okay,
then I
Virgo,
don't have to do
get in
traffic.
your Virgo lane now.
You know, it's like I didn't want to have to keep track of everybody. I wanted everybody to keep track of themselves.
Yeah, but what I'm really hearing with this is this. Libras, especially Libra women, they just compromise too much. They're being too nice all the time. And we appreciate how you're being nice, but it ends up leaving you kind of split or haphazard instead of being more assertive. This is what I want. This is what I need, and it won't mess me up so much. That's what I'm getting here.
Yeah, I just decided that it wasn't my problem.
Right.
You know, and that I didn't need to,
Sound like our former president. Wasn't his problem.
What's his problem?
Okay, look at the heavy ninth house. You're putting a lot of emphasis on intellectual, philosophical experimentation. Okay, this is not just you teaching. This is your own teaching for yourself. The heavy influence in the fifth house means that you want to have some expression yourself, not just watching them express, but you want to express yourself too. And they're directly related here. The Venus is really, really strong, being in Virgo, and that first degree is the strongest degree that there is. You want to Virgoize your Venus, which means you're going to take your house, and Libra's houses are always made to be pretty and pleasant. And that's not what you're going to do to it now. You're going to make it more operative and more functional, and it's going to become more, is that right? Is that the right word?
It's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Right. Later on, you get back to making it pretty again, but now you're going to do it in a practical sense. So the real big story is not the second house here. The real big story in this chart is how you're going to blend your philosophical stuff with your expression this year. So if you got these great big philosophies, but you're not expressing them yourself, you got a mismatch. So you're going to modify that or modify that. You're going to just keep, that's what the square does. It won't let the one be without the other. It's not necessarily a problem. It just means that these belief systems I have, I need to start expressing them. And one thing that's going to allow you to do that is by getting tighter with your relationships and getting them in line the way you want them. Make sense?
That sounds perfect.
Well, good. As long as it's perfect, I think I'll go on to the next person.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And welcome back to Marcia's chart. All right. Okay, we see the moon is really, really, really high. And you don't know your daughter's birthday, do you?
June 3rd.
You think it's Gemini?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. This is her. This is definitely your daughter. Okay, this is definitely you putting your daughter first all year. I'm not sure what this means yet, but that sticks out right ahead. Okay, you got the big planets in the fourth house and the fifth house. See, these planets just don't move that much. So a lot of us have the same thing. Neptune's really big in this chart, even though it's 5 degrees away. So you're trying to find the money, the means to help her. You're trying to keep the family straight. And let me see if I can figure this out. It's getting difficult because you're running into having to break a promise. I don't know what this means. You can keep it to yourself. But you're really getting close to the point where you're stressing so much that you might have to break a promise. And I don't know what that means. And I don't necessarily think it's bad. I think what is more of the issue is making the promise in the beginning. But what I want to say to you is very clear. The thing that's so common with the Capricorns is we all have duty and responsibility. We have it ground into our bones. We're just born with it. And sometimes it's just got to go. Sometimes it's just got to go. You know, that we have an overall sense of responsibility to the world, etc., and duty, but that's all an opinion. It's all an opinion. And I just want you to come back, step back. What's going to help you with this year is stepping back from it and saying, is this really a duty of mine? Is this really a responsibility of mine? And I want to look at it. Now, beside that, helping your daughter, what this means with the moon up here like this is your emotions. Okay? I can hear Egg's voice for some reason. I don't know why I'm getting that. Your mother, I'm hearing your mother say something to you, or things she always told you repetitively that you never really wanted to hear. But I mean, I'm hearing you say to yourself, she was right. She was right. I'm getting that strongly. Okay. And I'm not sure what she said. What sign was she?
Cancer.
She was a Cancer. Okay. Well, that's very much the moon. Okay. Okay. You got Virgo rising with Mercury in the 4th house and Pluto here in the sun. So this is very much a year of you taking care of yourself emotionally. And it has a lot to do with past promises that you're renegotiating. And what I'm saying to you is this. What are problems that are really yours versus what are problems that other people have made yours? Okay? And that's why I'm getting Egg's voice, because I'm getting Egg in here. She's mad about it. She doesn't like this for some reason. I don't know. I'm going to let this go right here. Okay? Does this make any sense to you? Okay. Do you mind if I stop here?
No.
Okay. We can talk offline if you need to, but I'm getting that very clear. And I am not going to sit in judgment.
Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome. Recording. Here we go with Waldo. Here we go. It's an interesting chart, Waldo. Okay. Now we take a look. We see 4 planets heavily in the 7th house. Everything once again squaring these 3 planets in Capricorn. Sun is in the 2nd. Venus is rising. Venus is opposite this. Okay. So what this is telling me, I'm not that worried about this Venus, even though Venus is opposite Uranus. It means you're going to enliven your friendships and your interactions with people. But I'm not worried about that at all, because you're already very, very lively and into your interactions with people, and you have a lot of fun. That's not the story here. The story is, what's his Mars doing here? Why is Mars setting? Why is Mars at 16 of Aries setting? Okay. What this is saying, you've been doing a lot of things because you've had to do them. But now you're going to start asserting yourself because you want what you're doing to align more with who you really are. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now with the heavy duty stuff in the 4th house, there's this real, how do I say this? You got this responsibility at home that you think sometimes is holding you back from doing your thing. But what I'm finding out is this is in your mind. It's not holding you back as much as you think it is. Go do it. What does this mean to you, this Mars?
You're right. You're in the, maybe the 4th house. I see more that responsibility that I got from the years, all these things that I had to take care of. You know,
well, what I'm getting is very simple. If you go do your thing, the sky's not going to fall.
Right.
That's
no, I'm already doing that.
It's not going to fall. And people
Yeah.
love you and they want to see you do your thing. They want you to be happy and go be active. Look what you put in the 7th house. Mars, Eris, Moon, Uranus. This is you out there. Have you ever thought of running for mayor of your town? I'm serious.
You know,
You ever considered it?
my Uranus square my sun natal, so I'm very anarchist in one aspect. That when if I run for mayor, they'd be shooting me the next day here.
Because you're too anarchistic. All right.
Well, no anarchistic, but I'm very open to what I say. You know, when I say things, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it.
All right. Exactly.
I don't sugarcoat anything. So
That's Sagittarius. Well, could your town do with some of that?
And I have many planets in
Waldo.
Sag, and I have Aquarius, Saturn Aquarius.
Waldo, could your town do with some of that?
Yeah, I'm not into politics. I don't really care myself to do it. I like to read about politics and I like to know about it. I kind of stay
what we're seeing here is you coming up with a whole new public role. What is that about?
Right. Well, in my case, probably is trying to decide if I stay in the property ambience, like I'm a consultant, a property consultant, but I really like astrology and I love numerology and I love the mysticism. I love metaphysics.
Are you considering starting an astrology practice?
I kind of mingle with it in my business, you know, like I use it for myself and for my friends and for people that wants to use, like they ask me for business advices and I put astrology into the midst. But I really have so much responsibility, like you saw in the fourth house, to take care of things that I had to take care to survive.
What I'm telling you, and I'm going to move on to the next person. What I'm telling you is this. You don't have as much responsibility as you think. You're not going to, you can go do your thing and it's not going to harm your home as much as you think.
No, my home is pretty,
all right,
pretty safe. I mean, my situation is always been, my home is first, my partnership, my partnership is first, and then business is second. Okay. And I never had changed that. So
this is a year for you to put yourself first for a while. Okay.
I appreciate it.
I got to move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just got too many people to do. Now, Barbara SEM, she here? Barbara's not here. She left. Okay. Brenda Z. Now, Brenda, you are one of the people I promised to do your chart on the show. Okay. Yeah. What I'm going to do now, since this is different, just go ahead and unmute you. Okay. I'm going to, Brenda is one of she's number 8 on the list. She's one of the people I've said that I would be doing charts for people now and then if there was time. So I'm not going to do your solar return, but I'm going to look at your chart in general because you've been very patient and I appreciate it. Okay. Now, Brenda, I have you born in Peru and you're living in New York City and you're an Aquarian. You got Venus and Mars in Pisces. Okay. You got Jupiter, Uranus, big time traveler, really enjoy your travels. Very, very pleasant person. Very, very nice person. Very emotionally intense. Okay, what's going on in this chart? I'm going to dig down to it. What's going on in this chart? 17, 18. Okay, Pisces, Neptune. Okay, your chart is going through, we're going to go through several things here. Your chart is going through a very big spiritual turning point. Okay, Neptune's crossing your ascendant. And that means that you're starting to see the world is not the way everybody sees it. There's a very mystical part to the world, a very subtle spiritual part to the world, and it's really real what's going on with you now. You feel confused right now, but that's normal. This will pass. The confusion is because you've been used to using your mind on everything, and now all of a sudden that's being shoved aside, and you're starting to rely on your right brain or your intuition. That makes sense to you? It's very real. It's very real. Are you drawn towards doing some art or maybe doing the tarot?
Yeah, I'm drawn to tarot and spirituality and numerology.
Okay, those things are a big deal right now, especially the tarot, because tarot is really good for opening the intuition. Very, very strong now. Absolutely, yes. This is the time to do that. Okay, that will help you because you got a lot of spirituality to begin with. It's very strong. So go for it. Don't delay. Now,
Go for learning to do
Yeah.
tarot for myself.
learning to do tarot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, here's something that concerns me. All right. There's a fear here, a fear of going into the occult, a fear of somebody's going to get me, or a fear of I'm not being protected, a fear of I better be careful how I deal with all this. Okay. I don't think you need to worry about it. And what I would do if I were you, not from me, but you need to get this from somebody you trust in your area. You need to get a good protection prayer. Don't get it off the internet. You need to get it personally from somebody so you can protect yourself when you start to travel throughout these different realms and you'll feel safer. Okay? Like surrounding yourself with white light or whatever. You need to get something that you feel good about saying. Go to somebody you trust and ask them something good, some ritual you can do, some prayer you can say, etc. Because you can't afford now to stay closed. It's time to open up. And you're afraid if you open up, you're going to get these residual effects. And you're not going to if you're protected. So go ahead and open up because it's time to do it. So what's on your mind? What's the number one thing on your mind about your chart?
About my chart, I think it's not really about my chart. I think it's more on the spirituality side, like how to open. But I would say also like this year, like it's like a pivotal year, sort of like a year one. And I'm just trying to connect the dots between how to open myself up to this new year.
Well, then let's go ahead and do your return chart. I think it would be good. Let's take your chart. Let's take your chart, and you're in New York City?
Yes.
We're going to do a return chart for you for what do you do for a living?
I'm starting a new business in coaching,
Life coaching?
career coaching.
Okay. All right, let's look at this chart. All right. Okay, you're wondering about your life direction. Here's the moon down here by itself. Moon's opposite Mars, heavy duty 8th house and the 9th house. 8th house, 9th house. All this Aquarius in you, and you're already Aquarian. All right. When you talk about coaching, what type of coaching are you speaking of?
Currently career coaching. Currently.
Career coaching. Okay.
But that's just the beginning.
What does that mean? It's just the beginning.
That I see it as an opening into helping people in other types of ways, even potentially spiritually.
Are you thinking of taking some psychology classes?
I'm thinking of taking any training that can help me help people. But yes.
What is your age?
38.
Okay, you're very young. Okay, I'm seeing a real strong bent here towards picking up psychology training. Now, I don't know if that's going to help you directly or indirectly, but it's going to really help. But I'm getting a real strong push towards getting psychologically trained so you get more tools working with people at that level. Okay?
That sounds good.
And I
I
really
think-
think that that's what you need to do for now. And we'll move on from that. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. All right, let's try to get everybody taken care of today. And so far, all we got left is Nancy and Liz and Maria, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that since we're already way over. What's the difference? Nancy was next on the list. Here is your return chart for Nancy. All right, so we see that you are a Cancer. Your moon is in Leo, this chart. This is the chart of last June until the coming June. So you're halfway through it. The
So
sun
do
is,
you have my birthday as 26?
okay, all right. Okay, so your birthday is really on the 20. That's not the return chart. There's a return chart. Yeah, it's late at night on. So this is one of those weird things where it moves by 2 days. Okay, the moon is over here by itself in Leo. You're how old?
66.
Okay, the sun is in Cancer. It's in the 5th house. Mars and Neptune are rising. Okay, so the chart's main impetus this year is upon self-expression. Self-expression. Instead of thinking about the family all the time, it's about you expressing yourself. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes, totally.
Explain.
Because I think that I have never set boundaries, and I understand now that I have to be myself.
Okay, well, we can get generic about this and it will really,
Okay.
20, give me 1 second here. Okay, Uranus. Okay, what you have happening here is you have Uranus. Let me go back to your birth charts. Okay, the Uranus in the 4th. Okay, in a second. All right. This is very philosophical. When Cancers grow up, they are built with a strong sense of I might sink if I don't hold on somewhere. That's how that sign is. And they're very much afraid of being abandoned. And what they find out, I had one today I was dealing with. She led herself through 60 some years all by herself and she's worried about being abandoned. She's already not given any help. She's already done the work. She's so used to being afraid of being abandoned. She's never looked to see that she can't be abandoned because she's already so strong.
Right.
So it's interesting. So as a Cancer gets older, unlike some other signs, they become more and more independent. They become more sure of themselves. When they're little, they really need to hang on somewhere. It's the first sign that has emotions, and it's a scary time for the soul to go through that stage. And it makes you, Cancer children are always the one walking around the mother all the time, hanging on the skirt. They stay close to the family for the safety. Well, what you're getting through now is you're not only getting through your independence, which is coming up and it's time for that, but you're also realizing that nobody put you there to begin with. Nobody put you in that place. That was just a part of your natural evolution. And I see this so many times with people in their 60s. So many times they go through the second half of their life. I don't care if it's numerical or not. They're really going through their second half. And the first half has been the time when you had to solve stuff karmically. And the second half is when you really start to loosen yourself and start going. So have you considered starting a business?
Well, I've done that. That's what I've done my whole life. So I guess I'm kind of thinking of one more.
Okay, because
'Cause-
cancers are the best sign of the zodiac for being businesswomen. They're just really excellent. What
Yeah,
kind?
I've done.
Is it on the internet?
No, I've owned a bakery. I've had a food truck, and now I think I want to be maybe a specialty baker or bartender, or I don't know, hire myself out specialty.
That sounds really good. Very good. Well, the important thing is you're on the right track because you're letting go of the reins. You're letting go of the ties. Okay. And that's a really big deal for cancers. That's why I was telling Zhao that he's going to be successful with his trip overseas because he's letting go. Okay. There's no way you're going to sink if you develop yourself spiritually. And I cannot guarantee how you're going to do with the bakery and all that. All I can say is the real secret to being a Cancer is to develop a head and heart combination to your spiritual development. That way you're never abandoned.
I totally understand that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then you're right on track.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
You
Yes,
are
thank you.
you are welcome. Now I just have the recording. We're now with Liz. Okay, let's get Liz's chart up. Okay, now in this chart, you notice the sun is opposite 3 major planets, especially Jupiter, Pluto. The T-square is the Eris in the 8th house. Are you a married woman?
No.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I own a business, teach music lessons.
Okay. Okay. With Eris in this 8th house, are you dating somebody now or are you just single?
Yes, yes.
You're dating somebody.
Dating. Mhm.
Okay. Now, what sign is this person?
He's a Leo Scorpio rising.
Okay. Is he real intense?
Real intense?
Yeah.
Not all, no.
Okay.
Medium.
He's medium intensity. Okay.
I don't know.
Medium rare. Sun is opposite Pluto, Jupiter going to Eris in the 8th house. Okay. What's happening in this chart? And you how old now?
36.
Okay, you're very young. What's going on in this chart is you're done with anybody affecting your self-worth. You're really, really done with this. You're really trying to, cancers don't like to blow up relationships because they're so tender and sensitive. They don't like breakups for anybody. They just don't like it. Okay. But you are at the point now where you can't let that dominate anymore because you gotta make sure you're not getting lost in any relationship, not just the close one that you're in, but you can't get lost in a relationship. And your chart is on fire now, saying, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to get lost in a relationship for any reason. So it always comes back to the Cancer's fear of being abandoned. And the thing is, you're not going to be abandoned. You're not going to be abandoned. And you got to make sure that you don't get lost in a relationship. That's the message I keep getting very clearly. Does that make any sense to you?
Maybe. Which one did you do it for 2020 to 2021? Is that the one we were looking at?
Let me take a look here. The July 11th of 2020.
Yeah, well, I broke up with somebody else in the beginning of 2020 that I felt basically what you just said.
So you've
So,
already been through that. Okay, well, that's very good. Now, did you benefit a lot from recapturing yourself in that relationship?
mean getting out of it? Are we capturing out of it? I don't really
By getting to the point where you didn't let yourself get lost in it.
Yeah, well, then I got out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. that was
Getting out
better.
of a bad relationship is the number one thing in astrology. Everything gets greater as soon as you do it. it is so horrible to stay in a bad relationship astrologically. Everything goes wrong. Your money goes wrong, your health goes wrong, your looks go wrong, everything, your job. And as soon as you break it, it gets a lot better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, seems to be.
Okay, very good. Now, with the next relationship that you got into, is it more of a 50-50? Do you want to even, Steven?
Yeah.
Okay, very, very good. Now, are you thinking about teaching?
I teach only a little. I teach very few. I have a bunch of instructors who work for me. So I manage the business mostly
Okay.
and teach a little bit.
But they're teaching what?
Music.
Okay, forgive me. All right. Forget about the music. That's secondary, all right? I was
Okay.
married to a music teacher for 20 years, so I know a lot about it. What I'm saying is your main ability is teaching little ones. You need to teach little ones. I don't care whether it's through music or what. The little ones are going to listen to you. You've got a special ability to teach the little ones, and they're going to really hear you because you have a great love for them and a great respect for them, and you will not mock them because a lot of little kids are afraid of being mocked. This is your power. You're really strong at this. You need to be bending down and teaching the little ones that they're okay as they are. You're okay as the way you are. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how you can do this and incorporate it into a music career. My ex-wife, she did really well with the little ones. So I want you to just hear me out about that. I really think it's an extra arm, it's an extra branch that you can go into that needs to be done because you really got the talent for it. And in return, it's going to make you feel really rich. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I have to rush, but I'm waiting for everybody. Eric. Okay, well, you're welcome, Erica. Thank you. Let me finish with the very patient Maria. All right. Your chart is so Virgoan. I'm going to forego the return chart and just talk about your natal chart.
Okay.
I really would request that you go to YouTube and type in Rick DiClemente Virgo. Okay? And I have taken a 90-minute lecture and I chopped it down to 30 minutes. And it's called How to Help Virgos Not Get Stuck in Perfectionism.
I watched it last week.
Okay, you already watched it. Excellent. And it's an excellent video.
Mhm.
Peggy's a Virgo up there going, yeah. Okay. Now I spend 50% of my astrological breath on Virgos than I do everybody else. My number one client in the world are Virgo women. They just are. They're very smart and Virgos are dying to stay in line with the goddess energy. That's why they come to me, because they can't stand the thought of doing something that they shouldn't do. Okay? Now, the first thing I want to say, there ain't no word such as should. Oh, should is somebody's opinion. I've been going through a real epiphany this past year. Everything's about somebody's opinion. All this, if I see another person on Facebook talk about the reason we're alive and the reason for life is, nobody knows. It's everybody's opinion. Now, the thing is, and I harped on it in this chart, in that video, this thing about should is so strong in Virgos, this thing about be productive, be productive, be productive. And it's a wonderful thing. And I would hire Virgos for anything because they're just the best at everything. They're just damn good. But they go so far with it that they have to get permission from the Pope to get into their feelings. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does. I've spent a lot of time trying to balance the Pisces and the Virgo, and
very good.
I have a lot of water and earth in my chart, so it feels like it's all feelings sometimes.
Well, very good, because the ultimate polarity in the zodiac is Virgo and Pisces. One's inclusive, one's exclusive. One's picky, one's not. I can see from your face already, you're very pure skinned. That's very typical with Virgos. Even in their old age, their skin is, oh yeah, a beautiful complexion. You're real hardworking.
I have been until COVID. I haven't worked since last March.
All right, all right, all right. But what do you do?
I'm a preschool and kindergarten teacher, Montessori teacher.
Okay, all right. Well, that was a blessing to have this time off to
It has been.
to be
Oh,
with
yeah.
yourself. Virgo people, I finished the Virgo chapter in my book and I ripped it up and I threw it away. And I replaced it with a Virgo that had 2 words in addition that I had said before. Purity and caring. Too much written about their perfectionism. Virgos care and they're pure. They just can't stand a mess. They can't stand people who are impure, and they really do care, and they can't stand somebody who's half-assed at something. They can't stand it when people don't care. So what's going on in your chart is you need to start blending the two. And there's every reason in the world to think that you can blend the spiritual Pisces part with you with the Virgo part. But you got to get the Virgo part to stop panicking. Okay? That's the problem with Virgos. They panic. The dishes need done. Ah! The dishes need done. See the difference?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do the dishes sometimes soon. Okay? Because you really got to turn around and face that force that just keeps telling you it's got to be perfect. You got to get this done. This has to be done tomorrow. 10 widgets today, 11 widgets tomorrow. I don't care how many widgets you make. It's not going to make life any better. So it's a tough sign because you're so enamored with fixing everything. And you're really good at it. But not everything's broken. So you got to find that groove between, like Mother Teresa does. She's fixing, but she knows it isn't broken at the same time. She's fixing, but she knows it isn't broken. And if you don't adopt that mentality, you'll walk around in a world where everything's wrong. Everything's broken, and it's not broken. But the biggest thing, without a doubt, you got to get to where you start to give yourself a break and not see it as you copping out. Give yourself a break. You're not copping out. And you wouldn't go below your time if you had to. You wouldn't go be a bum if you had to. You're a good woman. People sense that. That's another thing I really try to impress on my Virgos is people know, they can feel how honest you are. They can feel your quality. You got the job before you're interviewed. They can sense that. You're just a winner. Another thing Virgos need to understand is make it easier for people to compliment you and say thank you.
Okay.
Just say thank you. That was nice of you. Thank you. Instead of no. You know, because Virgos just hate it. They hate it. Well, people will stop complimenting you. Just start saying, okay, thank you. Did you get something from this talk?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, everybody. It's been 2.5 hours. I'm losing my voice. I did get through all of you. I apologize to the ones of you who waited and didn't get through. Now, I want to say a couple of things. I'm not doing this again. That's number one. Number two, I want to say, be there next week because it's an amazing story of this 15-year-old boy. The grandma called me yesterday and helped me deal with my 15-year-old grandson that the parents couldn't deal with anymore. And I want to take you step by step astrologically how I worked with this chart. And it makes you want to cry when you see how valuable true astrology is and nobody's using it. That's next week. Thank you all so much for being patient tonight. Blessings to everybody, especially Erica down at the bottom of the screen.
Thank you, Rick. You've got amazing energy.
Love you all.
Thank
Love
you.
all too.
This will be on YouTube in a couple hours.